At Molly's first morning at the Windsor house, Mistress Windsor was cold and impersonal during the tour of the house.
Breakfast at 8, tea at 11, supper at 6. I want new linens on the table before every meal. You shall cook from recipes I choose. You can read, can't you?
Well enough, Mum.
As you can see, I haven't had any time to properly unpack our things. See that you take care of that.
Yes, Mum.
Chamber pots cleaned by 10.
Yes, Mum.
Floor scrubbed twice weekly.
Yes, Mum.
Silver polished every month.
Yes, Mum.
Molly soon found herself repeating the words, "Yes, Mum," until they were burned into her mind.
And what about that room there, Mum?
The smallish green door at the top of the stairs was unlike most doors in the house, boasting a large iron bolt.
You needn't concern yourself with that door. I don't even think we have the key. Do clean those muddy footprints when you get a chance.
Mistress Windsor had an elegant way about her. Beautiful clothes like Molly had never seen before, particularly the diamond jewelry hanging from her delicate wrist and neck.
Your brother, how long has he been a cripple?
He was born that way, leg turned in on itself.
Well, whatever it is, I don't want the children catching it. He's to sleep in the stables.
The stables, Mum?
Or the woodshed, if he prefers.
He's only 10, Mum.
Molly knew her brother's health was worsening. She knew she shouldn't speak out, but she couldn't help it.
There are plenty of beds in the servants' quarters. Surely he can sleep in one of the rooms down there.
Out of the question. There's a reasonable fear of illness in this home. It wouldn't be the first time sickness has spread inside these walls. And Molly, I'm unaccustomed to having my orders questioned. If you so much as think of contradicting me again, you and your brother will find yourselves out in the cold before the words even come out of your mouth. Are we clear?
Yes, Mum.
It was nearly evening by the time Mistress Windsor concluded her tour in the library on the second floor.
Excellent. Follow me then. My husband spends much of his time in town, so we have little use for the study. You can see a dusting is in order.
The space looked to Molly like it had not been occupied in some time.
Is Master Windsor a scholar, Mum?
A scholar? Heavens no. These books belong to Bertrand's father. I understand he was something of eccentric.
There was an audible gust of wind outside, and a branch from the giant tree tapped against the window.
You know, Mum, I could have my brother prune back some of those branches, maybe patch the walls where it's broke through.
Wouldn't that we could. Unfortunately, the tree has grown too close to the house. Disturbing it may threaten foundations.
Surely clipping back a few branches wouldn't.
Under no circumstances are you to bother or touch the tree. Do you understand?
Yes, Mum.
Molly could feel her cheeks flushing again. She had only meant to be helpful. Just when it seemed like her mistress was becoming kinder, the woman would lash out at her for no good reason. She scanned the room with her eyes, trying not to let Constance see her frustration. And that's when she noticed the portrait.
Is something the matter?
Is that you, Mum?
Who else would it be, child? We had it painted last summer, just before moving here, in fact.
Molly marveled at how the woman could have looked so differently only a few months before. Constance stiffened, feeling Molly's eyes on her. She touched the back of her dark, straight hair.
Perhaps it's time you started supper.
She inched back a step, looking again at the painting. The four faces in the portrait smiled out at her, happy and healthy. Something sinister was changing these people, and they didn't even seem to know it. Molly covered the portrait and retreated into the hall.